What's the word? Uncle Lou's not worried. Nah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You know, I've been saying since the offseason Missouri was going to have a game or two that shocked some people. Maybe this one will be it. But Missouri's not going to win the game. I mean, really, we've really shut them down, even on defense. I know they've got 21 points, but, you know, a couple of 60-yard bombs is really all they've had. Everything else has been shut down. I'm not worried at all. The second half, I don't think will be anything like the first. Kirby and Mel Tucker will make the adjustments they need to shut down those 50 and 60-yard passes. And other than that, Mizzou's got nothing. They can't run the ball. They've got no short or intermediate pass game. I mean, like I said, two 60-yard bombs. Some Georgia fans are freaking out on the internet, and you know, I get it. That always happens. I've been guilty of that too, but I'm not worried at all. Missouri's the best passing team we've faced, probably the best passing team we'll face all year. They had a stretch of 2 or 3 weeks where they looked really, really bad, and I'm not sure what was going on. I didn't watch much of Missouri this year, but I'm not surprised they were able to sling the ball around a little bit in the first half. But like I said, that's going to get shut down. I'm not worried at all. I couldn't be happier with what I'm seeing from Jake Fromm. It's pretty obvious to me that the game plan this week was to come out and let Jake Fromm sling it around. And I've been asking for that for a few weeks. People accuse me of hating on Jake Fromm or not liking him. It's not that. The guy's a true freshman, and there's going to come a point sometime in the season where our run game is struggling, and we're going to have to rely on Jake Fromm. And I just wanted Fromm to have more opportunities passing the ball before we actually ran into a team where we had to pass the ball. So I thought last week would have been a good week to do it. It didn't happen. I was hoping for it this week, and it looks like I got my wish. Fromm, almost 250 yards at halftime. He did have the one bad interception, and he does sort of have a bad habit of that, but it's not just Fromm. Freshmen in general tend to do that, sort of decide where you're going to throw the ball before the ball is snapped, stare the receiver down, gets picked off. He didn't see the middle linebacker creeping over to the outside towards the hash mark on that play, and he basically threw it right to him. But other than that, Fromm's had a great game, and this is all I've wanted to see. It wasn't anything against Fromm. I just wanted to see him throw the ball, you know, more than 10 or 12 times a game. This is only the third game now all year where Fromm has double-digit completions. And it's not because he's throwing a ton of incomplete passes. It's just because he hasn't thrown the ball very many times. I mean, I think we were averaging about 14 passes a game before today. So I'm happy that the game plan was to let him come out and sling it around. I think in the second half, you might see some of that in the third quarter, and then I think the last quarter and a half of this game is going to be a steady dose of Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, Brian Herron, DeAndre Swift. You might even see some Holyfield. I don't expect Missouri to do much offensively in the second half. I think we'll make the adjustments that we need to make. Kirby and Mel will get it figured out, and I'm not worried at all. So anyway, let's see some of these comments here. Support Kirby, blame Rick. For what? We're winning 34-21. It's what's that? 13 points. We'll probably win by 4 touchdowns. At least I'm not worried at all. The Washington fan wants me to move Washington up in the UNCLELOU poll. We'll see. Butch Jones just got fired. Is that true? No, come on. That's not. Quit trolling me. Somebody said UJ by 21. Somebody said no blowout. I think it will be a blowout today's game. It won't be close. We'll win by 3 or 4 scores at least. I sound like Gary Sinise. That's Lieutenant Dan. Ice cream! Lieutenant Dan! Ice cream! That's Gary Sinise. He's Lieutenant Dan and he ain't got no legs. Somebody said he did get fired. Y'all are making it up. I don't believe that. I'll have to see it for myself. There's too many trolls in the comment section for me to believe y'all about Butch Jones getting fired. Struggling with Mizzou. We're up 14. We're not struggling. Or 13. What is it? 34-21. We'll win by 4 scores. We're not struggling with Mizzou. Nice troll attempt, though. Saban just got fired. Secondary. Yeah, like I said, it was really just 2 bad plays by the secondary. That was really it. The first touchdown Mizzou had, I mean, we gave them the ball on the 20-yard line. What do you expect? They're going to get a touchdown there. But and then the other 2 touchdowns they had were 60-yard bombs. I mean, I'm not saying I'm happy about that, but I'm not concerned about it. I mean, we're not going to lose a game this year because a team hits 5 60-yard bombs on us. It's just not going to happen. Like I said, the adjustments have already been made. You saw Mizzou try to run the same play that's been working all day, and they threw it right to Dom Sanders. So the adjustments are already made. So, Missouri can scratch that. Got these comments are coming so fast. I can't. Butch Jones just says he got fired. Whoever made that I wish I knew who it was that made that Butch Jones account. It's probably somebody who has another account that comments on these videos. I wish I knew who that was. That's one of the best fake accounts I've seen. There's another fake account called Uncle Lou's Sunglasses that are pretty good. I think Uncle Lou's Basement has an account too. Nick Chubb's is Nick Chubb a first-round pick? Possibly. I think it's going to depend how many teams need running backs in the first round next year. I think Nick Chubb is good. I actually think Sony Michel is a better NFL prospect than Nick Chubb is. And look, I'm not knocking Nick Chubb. Georgia fans get really irritated when I say that. It's nothing against Nick Chubb. You have to look at what the NFL is doing with running backs these days and the passing game and all those kinds of things. And no matter what you think about Nick Chubb, the reality is Sony Michel's just a better third down back. And I think Nick Chubb in the NFL would be a first and second down running back in my opinion. I think Sony Michel could play all 3 downs. I don't think Georgia defense. So I can't even read these comments. They're coming so fast. Do you think the Gamecocks are going to beat Florida? I think that'll be a good game. South Carolina and Florida. I think that'll be a good game. It's in Columbia. South Carolina, I think, has a good chance. If Georgia beats Florida, Florida won't have much motivation at that point. And y'all play them after we do, right? So who knows? South Carolina's not winning the East. Just stop. You barely beat Tennessee, which is terrible. So stop with the South Carolinas winning the East. South Carolina owns UGA. This isn't women's. We're not talking women's basketball here, dude. Mizzou winning the. Okay, y'all are just getting out of hand here. Now Mizzou. Okay, Mizzou's winning the East. South Carolina's winning the East. Does somebody want to tell me that Kentucky's winning the East? I don't think so. Yeah, there it is. Kentucky's winning the East. Garantano is better than Dormady, though. Maybe. I don't know. Garantano is supposed to be a running quarterback. He had 15 yards rushing against South Carolina. So I mean, I don't know. He had 2 weeks to prepare for South Carolina. Didn't Tennessee have negative yards total in the second half against South Carolina? But Garantano is good. I mean, okay. UJ wins the East. Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that at this point. We are Marshall. Some of y'all's comments are too much. But anyway, prediction for the second half. Missouri might get another score or two. They're going to sling the ball around, so who knows? They might get another score or two. But Georgia can score really as many points as they want to in this game. If we keep playing in the second half like we played in the first half, throwing the ball around, we could easily score another 35 points. If we get up another score or two and decide to start running the ball and slowing it down, then maybe we only score in the upper 40s or 50s. But we're going to win this game by 3 to 4 scores. I'm not concerned at all. Auburn is a dumpster fire. The Gus Bus, look, I told you before, the Gus Bus is running on 4 flat tires, a busted taillight, and a smoking radiator. I don't understand. You're up by 20 points against LSU, a team with no offense at all. What are you thinking? What are you doing, Auburn? You put it in neutral, halfway through the second quarter, you can't score another point against LSU. That's pathetic and sad. Sad. 8 hours ago, Auburn thought they were winning the SEC, making the playoff, beating Georgia and Alabama, and running the table. Not happening. Gus Malzahn is a disaster. I'm telling you, he's not that much further behind Butch Jones. He's just not. Gus Malzahn was an average PE teacher, but he was a better high school PE teacher than he is SEC coach. That's just the reality of the situation. It's pathetic. How about Mark Richt, though? Did y'all see Mark Richt today? Still owning Georgia Tech? I mean, it's not like I'm pulling for Mark Richt or Miami or anything like that, but I hate Georgia Tech. And you had to think that Mark Richt was going to beat them, right? Miracle catch Miami got with like 30 seconds left in the game to set them up for the win there. Just unbelievable. So, yeah, Miami undefeated. So I guess I'll probably have to put Miami in the UNCLELOU top 10 next week. Mark Richt making a rare appearance in a top 10 poll. Wonder how long that'll last. I don't know. I've watched Miami play a couple of times this year. They're not a very good team. But the ACC seems to be down overall, so Miami could easily win 10 or 11 games. Dog's going to win 69-28. Wouldn't. I don't know if we'll score 69, but I'm with you there. It's not going to be a close game. Xavier thinks Uncle Lou is worried about South Carolina. Sir, I haven't been. I couldn't tell you the last time I was worried about South Carolina. You're just not any good this year. That's just the reality of the situation. You barely beat one of the worst Tennessee teams I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Tennessee played way worse today than they played against Georgia. Way worse. John Kelly had, what, 50 yards today? Pathetic. The second half, Tennessee had negative yards. Garantano fumbling the ball. Guantanamo Bay, you put him in at quarterback. He doesn't know what he's doing. Supposed to be a running quarterback, gets 15 yards. Tennessee is just abysmal, and you barely escaped out of there with a win. I mean, I just knew Tennessee was going to come down the field and score there at the end. But anyway, you know, it's good that South Carolina wins. Hell, I hope South Carolina wins a couple more. When they stroll into Athens in November, they think they actually have a team, and you're just going to get manhandled and run out of Athens on a rail. When we play South Carolina this year, it'll probably be worse than it was 2 years ago when we beat them 52-20. South Carolina is just a terrible team. Garen Pomenominen was 7 of 10. That's good. Okay, and how many touchdowns did Tennessee score today? I'll wait. 0. Tennessee hasn't scored a touchdown in 3 weeks. So don't tell me Garen Pomenominen was good. He wasn't. He rushed. He's a running quarterback. He ran for 15 yards. He completed 7 passes, and Tennessee scored 0 touchdowns. Don't tell me he's a good quarterback. You sound silly when you try to say that. Let's see. Oklahoma survived. Yeah, barely beat Texas. I didn't watch any of that game. I couldn't have been any less. In fact, I don't even think I mentioned the Oklahoma and Texas game in all week in all the videos I did. I don't even think I mentioned that game, and it's not because I didn't know they were playing. It was just no point in mentioning it. I couldn't have been any less interested in that game than I was. Utah beating Southern Cal, I'm not surprised. Southern Cal, I was high on them in the offseason. I was dead wrong about them. They're just not a good team. Here's somebody that thinks Gruden's coming to UT. Yeah, I know. You're getting John Gruden, head coach, Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, Bill Cowher, defensive coordinator, Peyton Manning, quarterback coach, T. Martin, assistant head coach. Who else? You can get John Madden to come in and coach linebackers. Who else are you getting there? I mean, yeah, anyway, I know you're getting all those people. Just a matter of time, dude. USC defense will shut UJ down. Whoever said that hasn't watched a bit of football this year. None. UJ is done. These people. Troll on. All right, anyway, enjoy the second half of the game. You already know I'll be back with a video. It won't be a live video after the game, though. I'll just record myself screaming into the phone about how I was right all week and all you trolls were wrong and celebrating a 3 or 4 touchdown victory over this trash Mizzou team. Anyway, if your team won, congratulations. If you're Alabama, I haven't watched any of your game against Arkansas today, but I'm pretty sure you're looking pretty average. I don't know what can somebody tell me what the score is? Florida and Texas A&M, who's winning that game? Not that anyone really cares. Two terrible teams, really, but I don't know who's winning. 10-10, okay. 10-3, 10-10, tied 10-10, okay. Yeah, 2 garbage teams there. Anyway, Tennessee, trash can. Georgia Tech, you had a nice little run, but we already knew once you lost Tennessee that you weren't any good. Auburn, season's over again. I might make a season's over video in the morning, put Auburn in there again, just because it's fun to mess with those people. Gus Malzahn, look at this Sissy Roo right there. See?
Good morning.
And Luann tells you good morning. She got a friend there. That's her friend Leroy.
Good morning.
Morning. But anyway, that's that and everything else. Tennessee, trash can. Georgia Tech, we knew you were no good when you lost to Tennessee. Auburn, season's over. Gus Bus, terrible. Jarrett stood baloney. Chance to win the game at the very end. 4th down play. Guy stands around like a deer in the headlights. Looks like a scared 9-year-old girl. quadruple pumps the ball, stands there, looks around again like he's helping an old lady across the street, looking both ways before he crosses. Gets sacked to end the game. No surprise there. Only surprise about Stidbaloney is that he's made it this far into the season. It's really the only surprise there. Auburn, terrible. Tennessee, terrible. South Carolina, how do you barely beat Tennessee? That's terrible. Clemson, terrible. Dabo Swinney, you owe some explanation, sir. Playing that hurt quarterback was ridiculous. You put winning above the health and safety of your players, and on top of that, you didn't even win. See y'all after the game.